Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vanchakalpatarupascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, thank you all for coming. So today we will continue our Bhagavad Gita study, chapter 9, from verse number 20 onwards. So next Saturday, 12th of July and Sunday, 13th of July is Rath Yatra here in Toronto. So next Saturday, Sunday, we will not have classes. You can use the time to get caught up on whatever reading and listening is pending for you. I will anyway send Prabhupada lecture in the chat for you to listen to. You can use the time to listen to Prabhupada lectures. And then from following week, which is July 20, Sundays, a new batch of Srimad Bhagavatam will start. So at least for the first two overview of Srimad Bhagavatam classes, I request all of you to please attend as an additional class on Sundays. If you cannot attend, by all means, you can listen to recording. But definitely try to attend virtually or listen to recording to the two overview classes of Srimad Bhagavatam, and you will get a lot of information about Srimad Bhagavatam. And for those who plan to continue to join the Srimad Bhagavatam sessions as an additional class, you can please let me know, and then I can send you information to join the Batch 5 WhatsApp group where the Srimad Bhagavatam classes will be held. Questions, comments, realizations? All right. So we'll continue Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, from verse number 20 onwards. So this is section 4, verses 20 to 25. Title is Kevala Bhakti is far superior to demigod worship. Now, upfront question is, why is somebody worshipping demigods? What are demigod worshippers trying to achieve? What are demigod worshippers trying to achieve?
Maybe quick material results, probably.
Very good. That demigod worshippers are trying to get quick material results. So, demigod worshippers are trying to get higher material happiness is like going to a resort. So His Grace Chaitanya Chandas has a punchline here that Bhagavad Gita says, don't seek for higher material happiness. Rather, seek for higher than material happiness. I'll repeat. Don't seek for higher material happiness. Rather, seek for higher than material happiness. And Mitra Prabhu, a devotee from batch 1, also has a very amazing punchline for what are demigod worshippers trying to do. His punchline is, demigod worship is like going to a resort. Heaven is like a resort. And as soon as the karmic credit is finished, then one has to come down to Earth or even lower planets. Just as when you go to a resort, when your money is finished, you have to leave the resort. And today morning, we discussed the same point in Dhruv Maharaj prayers. Abhishek Prabhu was present. Dhruv Maharaj says this exact same prayers, that those who go to heaven, they fall down. And he gives the analogy that when an airplane is flying and when they run out of fuel, they fall down. Similarly, those who go to heaven or those who go to resort, when their karmic credit or when their money is finished, then they have to fall down to earthly planets. All right, let's start reading verses. Chandar, verse number 20, translation.
Yes, Prabhuji. Those 20, those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reaction, they take birth on the pious heavenly planets of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights.
So in this section, Krishna is going to do a comparison between demigod worship and pure devotional service to Krishna. And Krishna will establish that pure devotional service is very easy as compared to demigod worship. So here in 9.20, Krishna is saying that those who worship demigods, they are actually worshipping me. But the problem is that they are worshipping me indirectly through demigods. The demigod worshippers, their desire is not to go back to Krishna. Rather, their desire is to go to heaven. So Krishna is saying that the karma kandya rituals are actually worshipping me. But because this is not done in consciousness of me, hence it does not lead to attainment of me. So all these people who go to heavenly planets, then what happens to them is described in 9.21. Riya, 21 translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. 21. When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death.
So Krishna has used the word kama kami in 2.70, that who will get peace is one who does not desire to satisfy these desires, for whom the desires come in like rivers come into the ocean. Like the ocean is already full, and even though a whole rivers enter the ocean does not overflow, because the ocean is satisfied within himself. The other desires, like in the analogy, like the rivers coming in, doesn't affect the ocean. But one who is desirer of desires, means one who is kama kami, he will not attain peace. Here in 9.21, Krishna is telling precisely that demigod worship centered around karma kanda is futile. It will lead to some temporary benefit, but for an intelligent person, any result that is less than eternal is less intelligent. If we settle for anything that is not eternal, we are cheating ourselves. We are underutilizing our potential. And Krishna will go on to reveal in these sets of verses in chapter 9 that as compared to the demigod rituals, it is actually very easy to worship Krishna. Krishna will explain in 9.26, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Now, these rich people in the material world, they are compared to sitting comfortably on an iceberg, assuming that the cold of the iceberg is not causing you discomfort, while the rest of the people in the material world are in the material ocean turbulence. But at some point of time, and soon, the iceberg will also melt, and the rich people who were sitting comfortably high on an iceberg, they will also find themselves in the material ocean turbulence. So our comfortable position, means those who are sitting on iceberg, is because of our good karma. And such karmic credit, good karmic credit, can exhaust at any moment, and we will fall back in the misery of material existence. Diksha, verse number 22.
Hare Krishna Babu. Verse 22. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Hare Krishna.
This is a very famous verse and a very important verse, which illustrates the personal intervention and personal care of the Lord. The Lord takes care of those who approach Him personally and devotionally. Krishna has talked about this principle in Bhagavad Gita 4.11 also, Ye yata mam prapatyante, that as people surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. Here Krishna is elaborating on the 4.11 principle by saying that when someone approaches him with pure devotion, he reciprocates accordingly. He takes it as his personal responsibility to take care of such a devotee. In 9.22, and this will again get reassured in 9.31. These are very assuring verses and faith building and inspiring verses for devotees that Krishna cares and Krishna takes care of his devotees. Krishna is giving his expectation. And these expectations are not like a business transaction. Rather, these are reciprocations. Therefore, Krishna cares for everyone, even those who are demoniac people. But Krishna's love for his devotees is special. Now we may think that constantly thinking of Krishna is very difficult. So we have to understand that this is a practice and we have to develop this discipline. It may not happen overnight for some, but you keep practicing and over a period of time, this will become second nature. As we practice more and more, the more we think about Krishna, the more purified we become, and this will result in constant remembrance of Krishna as second nature, as natural. Thinking about Krishna is consciously chosen cultivation for us. It is our sadhana at our sadhaka stage. At siddha stage means at purified stage, it is instantaneous for the devotee to naturally remember Krishna. The purer the devotion of a devotee, the greater is the reciprocation of the Lord. So Krishna does not just care for the soul and ignore the body of the devotee. No. Rather, Krishna takes care of the complete person. When we take care of the whys of the life, why of the life, that why we have to live, then Krishna will take care of hows of the life, that how am I going to get what I need. So why I am living? I am living for the sake of serving Krishna. Then Krishna will take care of hows of the life and provide for everything. So a devotee does not demand, rather a devotee serves and Krishna reciprocates. And a perfect example of this is our dear Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada built ISKCON temples, 108 ISKCON temples while he was on this earth, all around the world, with no money at all. Why? Because Krishna was providing everything for Prabhupada. Prabhupada was only focused on remembering Krishna and serving Krishna. Questions, comments, realizations?
Prabhuji, can you help with elaborating more on remembering and serving? I mean, just in order to relate it to this context, that will be helpful in sort of a revision.
Yeah. So, Krishna is absolute. And we have discussed in 8.7, Prabhupada has said that Bhagavad Gita 8.7 is how we should live our life. Bhagavad Gita 8.7 says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmaram yuddhata. He says, mam anusmaram yuddhacha. For Arjuna, the activity or is prescribed duty is yuddha. Therefore, it says yuddhacha. But it's the principle explaining that whatever be our activity, Mam Anusmaram, that remember Krishna before doing the activity, while doing the activity, and after doing the activity. This is pre-action meditation. And if you do this, then the result is Mai Arpita Manobuddhir, that your mind and intelligence and all your activities get offered to Krishna. The result will be you will go back to Krishna. Krishna says there's no doubt. Ma mevashyasi asamshaya. So I have described many practical examples on how to remember Krishna. So yes, if you can remember Krishna directly, by all means remember Krishna. But generally, for many, at least for me, it's very difficult. Therefore, we use Bhagavad Gita words, Krishna's verses, Krishna's words to remember Krishna, because Krishna's words are identical to remembering Krishna. So I have given many practical examples that you wake up at Bhagavad Gita verse time, that instead of waking at 4:30 a.m., wake up at 4:34. Set your alarm at 4:34, and it's a spiritual master verse. So wake up and recite the spiritual master verse. Tadvidi paripatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanena tattvadarshina. Or if you wake up at 5:30, instead set up your alarm at 5:29. It's again a key memorization verse. Bhoktaram yagyatapasvam sarvaloke maheshwaram suhadram sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim rachati. How do you think I am reciting all these verses like a parrot? Why? Because I do the same practice. And if you happen to wake up in the middle of the night, and you can look when you look at the clock and you can say, oh, it's still not spiritual master verse time, go back to sleep. Or it's still not Bhoktaram Yajna verse time, go back to sleep. This way, even while you are sleeping, you are remembering Krishna. So it's not just the 12 hours or so that you are awake that you are trying to remember Krishna. All the practical points that I have given, I only highlighted a couple right now. All these practical points make you remember Krishna 24 hours, even while you are sleeping. While sleeping, we generally don't have consciousness as to what we are thinking. We generally think of what we have the greatest attachment for. So if we try to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra throughout our life, study scriptures, do devotional services, then there is a greater chance that we will remember Krishna throughout our life as well as at the time of death. Megha, does that help you?
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right. Now, verse number 23 is a very important verse. Krishna is making a very important point to understand about demigod worship. Megha can read 9.23 translation.
Hare Krishna, 9.23. Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way.
So the key word here in the Sanskrit is avidhi purvakam. The last line has avidhi purvakam, means done in a wrong way. So Krishna says that those who are worshipping demigods, they are actually worshipping me, but they are doing it in a wrong way. In 7.21 and 22, Krishna has stated that I give the faith to a person by which the person worships the demigods. Now, all of you put on your Mayavad hat. So, Mayavadis also translate Bhagavad Gita, and they translate Bhagavad Gita in their Mayavad way. They translate it incorrectly. And I have seen this myself in one of a print version, that what these other translators of this verse 9.23, what they do is they remove the words Avidi Purvakam. And from the English translation, the word Avidi Purvakam is translated, which is they do so in a wrong way. They remove that part. And we'll soon read the verse 9.23 without the word Avidi Purvakam in the translation, and you will realize how misleading it becomes. So what these other translators do, that they remove the words Avidi Purvakam, means they remove the words done in a wrong way. Hence the verse becomes that those who are worshipping demigods, they are actually worshipping Krishna. Now this is a misrepresentation of Bhagavad Gita's message. So Megha, you want to read 9.23 translation again and stop at, O son of Kunti, don't read the last done in a wrong way.
Yes, Prabhuji. The persons who are engaged in the worship of demigods are not very intelligent.
No.
Although
Translation, 9.23 translation again. Just
Okay,
don't
okay.
read the last word, they do so in a wrong way.
Okay. Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me.
Right? So what Mayavadis do is they remove the words Avidi Purvakam. Well, the translation becomes misleading. That the translation becomes that those who are worshipping demigods, they are worshipping Krishna. So what's the big deal? Just worship demigods. This is a misrepresentation. This is how Mayavadis misinterpret original scriptures and impose their own interpretation on scriptures. Now, what is the emphasis of this verse? Is it that they are worshipping me, Krishna, or is it that they are worshipping me, Krishna, improperly? So to understand this, we have to understand the context, and this will become clear in 9.24. So the question here is worshipping any god same as worshipping Krishna? The answer is Bhagavad Gita does not say this. Rather, Bhagavad Gita says Anya Devta versus Mam. So when there is a versus or when there is a comparison, it's not the same. Anya Devta referring to demigods and Mam refers to worship of Krishna. They both are not same. So then the question is, what is the emphasis of these words Avidi Purvakam? Or is the emphasis Mam Eva between Avidi Purvakam and Mam Eva? What is the emphasis? So answer is that both points are important. Krishna is stressing on Avidi Purvakam, and how to understand this is coming up in 9.24, and we'll soon read 9.23 whole purport. Have close attention. 9.23. It's a pretty heavy purport. Follow me. 9.23 purport.
Hare Krishna. Purport. Persons who are engaged in the worship of demigods are not very intelligent, although such worship is offered to me indirectly. Krishna says, for example, when a man pours water on the leaves and branches of a tree without pouring water on the root, he does so without sufficient knowledge or without observing regulative principles. Similarly, the process of rendering service to different parts of the body is to supply food to the stomach. The demigods are, so to speak, different officers and directors in the government of the Supreme Lord. One has to follow the laws made by the government, not by the officers or directors. Similarly, everyone is to offer his worship to the Supreme Lord only. That will automatically satisfy the different officers and directors of the Lord. The officers and directors are engaged as representatives of the government, and to offer some bribe to the officers and directors is illegal. This is stated here as avidhi purvakam. In other words, Krishna does not approve the unnecessary worship of the demigods.
Last line, Krishna says, Krishna does not approve the unnecessary worship of demigods. So Prabhupada's purport is very heavy. Prabhupada says, officers are representatives of government, and to offer bribe to officers is illegal. This is avidhi purvakam. So question is, bribe is illegal and bribe should never be given. So is demigod worship illegal? Now, demigod worship is given in Vedas, so it is definitely legal. So then why is Srila Prabhupada comparing demigod worship as illegal? The answer is, demigod worship is improper. Demigod worship is illegal from the Vedic culture. Hence, Srila Prabhupada is explaining avidhi purvakam, or illegal, from the perspective of ultimate goal of human life, to go back home to Godhead. Demigod worship keeps you in the material world. Therefore, it is illegal because it is not allowing you to attain the eternal destination of going back home to Godhead. And Prabhupada clearly says, Krishna does not approve unnecessary worship of demigods. No matter which demigod you worship, there are so many millions of demigods. Some are very prominent, say Ganesh or Shiva or Saraswati, or some worship Durga or some worship Kali. All this is avidhi purvakam, is done in a wrong way. Krishna clearly has said there is no need for demigod worship. We have discussed demigod worship discussion at great length with the verse 4.12. That some may have this fear that what if I stop worshipping demigods, then what will happen? Well, will demigods be angry on me? No, demigods will not become angry, because demigods are actually devotees of Krishna, and demigods actually want everyone in the material world to worship Krishna. So actually, if you stop worshipping demigods, then demigods will actually become pleased. Chandar has a question. Chandar?
Prabhuji, here it's the word came unnecessary worship. So what is necessary? My question is that.
Yeah, so there are many examples for this, and we'll use one example, Arjuna. So before the war, Arjuna worshipped demigod. For example, he worshipped Shiva, other demigods, to get the Divya Astra, I mean the divine weapons, so that he can use the divine weapons in Krishna's service. Arjuna did not do the demigod worship to please the demigod to attain some material benediction. No, he worshipped demigods so that he can get the divine weapons for Krishna's service. So that worship is okay. Why? Because he is using it in Krishna's service. Demigods have those divine weapons, and he needed those divine weapons to fight that great war. Chandar?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I have another question. If we see in war field, on the chariot of Arjuna and Krishna, there is a Hanuman's picture. Hanumanji is also there.
Yeah, on a flag, yeah.
Yeah. So why that is there then?
We have
When
discussed this
Krishna,
we have discussed this in chapter 1. All these are signs of victory, that Krishna, goddess of fortune, Hanuman as devotee of Krishna or devotee of Ram. So Ram and Krishna are same. So all these are auspicious signs for victory of Arjuna and the Pandavas. Therefore, Hanuman is also present together with Krishna for giving the positive benediction to Arjuna. Chandar?
isn't that Hanumanji is a demigod?
So more than demigod, Hanuman is a devotee of the Lord. Yes, some do worship him as demigod, but I don't, at least I don't know that Hanuman has some administrative role in maintenance of the universe. There are demigods. So for example, Indra, you take an simple example that Indra is in charge of the rain, right? So I don't think Hanuman has a particular maintenance of the universe role. Therefore, the proper way to worship Hanuman is to worship as the devotee of Krishna rather than saying that he's a demigod. Chandar?
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right. So there's a question posted in the chat. Paulomi says, can we quote this verse to explain Indra's worship for rain and then Govardhan Leela of the Lord, especially to a child who wants to understand Bhagavad Gita with stories? So depends on your relationship with the child. I'm not sure about the question. What exactly does it say? And what is the relevance to Govardhan Leela? So yes, you can say that demigod worship or demigods have maintenance of the universe roles to play, just as Indra has a role to provide rain. But that does not make Indra as the god. No, he's just a demigod. Indra is a representative of the Lord. So in the Govardhan Leela pastime, Indra tried to become the god, and therefore he sent so much rain. But Krishna broke his arrogance by lifting the Govardhan hill. And even though Indra sent so much rain, which was actually to be used during the annihilation of the universe, but nothing happened to devotees and to Krishna and in Vrajwas. Anybody knows what happened to all that rain? So what happened during Govardhan Hill pastime is that Krishna stopped the worship of Indra, and Indra became furious that he sent Samvatka rain. So this rain, the droplets were of the size of a trunk of a tree. So why Indra has that ability is that during annihilation, first for 36,000 years, the entire universe burns. And then for 36,000 years, there is rain to cover the entire universe. Well, to cover the entire universe, you need a lot of rain. And therefore, during annihilation time, Indra is able to send rain, so much rain, the droplets are the size of a trunk of a tree. And Indra sent that much rain on a tiny Vrindavan. So does anybody know what happened to all that rain? Where did that water go? Anybody? Anybody wants to know? Silence. Anybody wants
Yes.
to know? Yes, for what?
Want to know.
Only few of the devotees. So it's described in Srimad Bhagavatam and by Acharyas that all that rain got absorbed by Sudarshan Chakra. Therefore, nothing happened to Vrajvas. Otherwise, I mean, the rainfall that was happening during Govardhan Leela pastime was that each drop was of the size of a trunk of a tree. Well, that will flood so much the entire villages. But nothing happened because Sudarshan Chakra absorbed all that water. Everybody on the same page? All right. Dhara, verse 24 translation.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. I am the only, text 24. I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. Hare Krishna.
So the key point in verse 24 is fall down. In 9.20 and 21, Krishna says that those who do demigod worship, they go to heaven, and after their pious credits are exhausted, they fall down back to material earthly planets or even to hell. In 9.22, Krishna says that those who worship me directly, I will protect them forever. In 9.23, Krishna has said that those who worship demigods are actually worshipping me, but they are doing it in a wrong way. Avidi Purvakam. 9.24, Krishna is explaining the general principle of worshipping demigods, that anyone who does not understand Krishna's position as the Supreme Lord, he will not attain eternal result. Plus, those who worship demigods, Krishna will not intervene in their lives because that person is not wanting Krishna to intervene. In 9.23, Krishna has said that those who worship demigods are worshipping me, but they are doing it in a wrong way. Plus, Krishna has already said that the result of worshipping demigods and worshipping Krishna are not the same. If you worship demigods, you get temporary and insignificant benedictions. Versus if you worship Krishna, then you get eternal results. Now, question may come up that those who are worshipping demigods, well, if they are also worshipping Krishna, then why don't they get the eternal results? The answer is because of ignorance. The demigod worshippers do not know about Krishna's transcendental position. And because demigod worshippers do not know Krishna's transcendental position, therefore they are not seeking Krishna. They are not desiring Krishna. Rather, they are worshipping demigods for some material benedictions. Therefore, the emphasis in 9.23 is Avidi Purvakam, done in a wrong way. Because Krishna is saying that is the reason why they are not getting the eternal results. Meaning, eternal results of attaining Krishna by doing demigod worship. They cannot attain that because they don't know Krishna's eternal position, and therefore demigod worship is Avidi Purvakam, done in a wrong way. Krishna is saying to understand that Krishna is Bhoktaram. And Krishna has already talked about this Bhoktaram point in 5.29, that one who understands that I am Bhoktaram of all yagyas, such a person will attain peace. And the same point Krishna is describing here in 9.24, that I am the Bhoktaram. And one who does not understand that Krishna is the Bhoktaram, such a person falls away. The point Krishna is making here is that ignorance of Krishna's transcendental position leads to fall down. Krishna is saying that I am to be understood as the enjoyer and the master. Otherwise, one falls away. And Krishna has used the same word tatvena, means to know Krishna in truth, in 4.9 also. That we have to understand Krishna in truth. Then we can go back home to Godhead. Questions, comments, realizations? Pratyush Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. My question is, if someone is worshipping demigod and Krishna at the same time, but that person doesn't know about the transcendental nature of Krishna. However, he still has the same devotion towards both the demigod and Krishna. Does that mean Krishna will not shower his blessings because a person doesn't know his transcendental nature?
So Krishna, this will come up in 9.27 very soon. Krishna will still accept whatever you offer to Krishna, whether or not you have devotion. But understand what we discussed in 4.11, ye yata mam prapadyante, that Krishna will reciprocate according to your devotion. So if your devotion is mixed and you don't know Krishna's transcendental position, well, then Krishna's reciprocation will be also very little. So why are you worshipping demigods as well as Krishna? Is because you don't see the difference between demigods and Krishna. You think demigods are also gods, Krishna is also God, and I want to worship both. And Krishna clearly says, 9.23, Avidhi Purvakam. That demigod worship is Avidhi Purvakam, done in a wrong way. And we read in 9.23, Krishna does not approve the unnecessary worship of demigods. And the analogy, we read the analogy that demigod worship is like you are watering individual leaf of a tree. Well, it doesn't help you. You have to just water the root. Krishna is the root. And the demigods are parts and parcels of Krishna. So if you water the root, and just as you water the root of a tree, the leaves automatically get nourished. Similarly, if you worship Krishna, demigods are automatically included because this comparison is not either or. This comparison is not you worship either Krishna or you worship demigods. Rather, the proper understanding is Krishna worship includes demigod worship because demigods are parts and parcels of Krishna. We have discussed demigod worship at great length, that demigods are at the Jiva Tattva level like you and me. There's no difference. The difference between demigods and rest of humans is that demigods have administrative powers to manage the universe, but that does not make demigods as gods. And we have discussed the analogy also that just as in an office, managers and staff are all employees. It's just that the managers have administrative powers. Similarly, demigods and we all humans, demigods are also at the same Jiva Tattva level like you and me. Just administrative powers are given to demigods. Pratyush Prabhu, does that help you?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Rest of you, questions, comments, realizations?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I have one question that since birth we are worshipping Lord Shiva. Whether and it's very difficult to just skip it right at this moment. So how we can manage and whether our beliefs are right or wrong?
So which Shiva are you worshipping?
Lord Shiva.
Yeah, which Shiva? Why I'm asking which Shiva is because there are two Shivas. One is
Okay.
Sada Shiva and one is the demigod Shiva that you are worshipping. So the demigod Shiva, most people in the material world don't know about Sada Shiva. Most people worship Shiva as the demigod Shiva. So the demigod Shiva that you are worshipping is that Shiva, the demigod Shiva, is at the Jiva Tattva level like you and me. Does not do any good to you. We clearly read in 9.23, it is Avidhi Purvakam. It is done in a wrong way, and Krishna clearly says Krishna does not approve demigod worship. So I have also described this when we were discussing the demigod worship at great length in 4.12 discussion, and you can revisit that 4.12 discussion where towards the end I have described that the proper way to worship demigods, including the Shiva as the demigod or any other demigod, is to worship the demigods as devotees of Krishna. Don't worship demigods as gods. So to worship demigods as devotees of Krishna, what you have to do is, at your home temple, on the altar, you cannot have Krishna and all other demigods on the same altar. No, it doesn't work that way. Rather, the proper way to do is, on the altar, you should only have Krishna. And on the side, you can have demigods, such as Ganesh or Shiva or whatever be your faith. And you offer bhoga only to Krishna. You cannot make two plates, one for demigods and one for Krishna. No, it doesn't work that way. You offer bhoga to Krishna, and from that Krishna plate, you offer that prasadam onto a different plate for the demigods and offer the prasadam, offer the Krishna prasadam to demigods. Demigods will be very pleased. Then they will accept your Krishna Prasad and they will bless you. So right now you are worshipping the demigods. It's not just Path Prabhu. Many in the material world, they don't know Krishna's position. So right now you have the fear. Oh, what will demigods do? They may cause harm to me. No, that is incorrect. We have discussed this from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.16.20 that actually demigods will become pleased if you start worshipping Krishna. So I had explained my own personal example. I had every single demigod you can think of at my home temple. And when I read all this discussion about demigods, then I prayed to all those demigods with folded hands and I said, now I understand. You are devotees of Krishna. I also want to become a devotee, so please help me. And I respectfully placed all those demigods in a box. They are still sitting in a box at my home, but respectfully. And like many of you, I also had a challenge to remove Ganpati from the temple. So I removed all the demigods from my home temple in two stages. Then I removed all the demigods except Ganesh because I had the fear of removing Ganesh. But little by little, I also understand, just as you can see on the image that we have on the screen, that Lord Narasimha is Krishna himself and all demigods. So Shiva is standing with folded hands, Ganesh is standing with folded hands, Brahmaji is standing with folded hands, Indra is standing with folded hands. Why? Because these are not gods. They are devotees of Krishna. So then I also found the courage to remove Ganesh also from the temple, and now I also only have Shri Radha Krishna, of course in various forms such as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as well as Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani also. So what you have to do is you have to get out of the fear that demigods are not going to become angry. They are actually going to help you to get established in worship of Krishna. Path Prabhu, does that help you?
Yes, it is a great relief because huge amount of confusion is there in my mind.
Yeah, so you should listen to the demigod worship recording again from 4.12. You can message me offline and I can send it to you. And uh, and and you will get a lot of references. There's a detailed discussion. I'm only briefly discussing about demigods. Because we have already discussed all that at great length. Pat Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Another, can you give the knowledge of Sadashiva?
Yeah, very good. Super excellent to hear with rapt attention. So there are 3 levels. The top level is Vishnu Tattva level, where Krishna, Lord Ram, Narsimha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the Krishna Tattva levels are. Means all the incarnations of Krishna are. And then the lowest level is Jiva Tattva, where we all are. So all the demigods in the material world, including the Shiva of material world, they are all at Jiva Tattva level. So we all as humans are at Jiva Tattva level, and demigods, including Ganesh, Shiva, all demigods are also at Jiva Tattva level. They just have administrative powers. Now, in between these two tattvas, between these two levels, is Sadashiva, and at the Sadashiva tattva level, Sadashiva is the only individual. And there is a visual coming up about this Sadashiva planet. So Sadashiva has his own planet, which is half in the material world and half in the spiritual world. Therefore, that planet of Sadashiva is half dark, which is in the material world, and half self-effulgent, which is in the spiritual world. Now, this Sadashiva is eternal. So if you worship Sadashiva, and there are devotees who are worshipping Sadashiva because they know Sadashiva as the eternal devotee of Krishna, they attain spiritual world. But if you worship the Shiva, the demigod Shiva of the material world, where you are not going anywhere. You are just circling in the material world, because the demigod Shiva is a demigod, is at the Jiva Tattva level. Now, there are only 3 individuals, 3 personalities in the entire creation who know everything about Krishna. Those 3 personalities are Srila Narad Muni, Sadashiva, and Lord Kapila. So Sadashiva is a very difficult subject matter to understand. I only very briefly touched the surface. It's a very advanced and a very difficult subject matter. I only briefly explained in terms of comparison between the temporary material world Shiva demigod, who is at the Jiva Tattva level like you and me, and Sadashiva is eternal. Path Prabhu, does that help you?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yes.
Okay, very good. Megha had a question. So Sumnima's question, why do we hear very less about Lord Kapila?
No,
It's not that we don't hear about Lord Kapila. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapters 25 to 33 are super heavy instructions of Lord Kapila about devotional Sankhya. So it's coming up. It's a very heavy conversation. So there are few devotees present here who have attended those conversations of the instructions of Lord Kapila. So it's not that it's not calm. We hear very less. It's just that we have not reached at that level yet. Sumnima?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I was just curious, we always glorify all the other, like, let's say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Nityananda. So we barely have anything about him or any, let's say,
Yeah, you are correct.
versions or anything.
Yeah, you are correct that way, because Lord Kapila came for a particular purpose of imparting devotional sankhya, and then he left. Right? So we do follow, how we follow or glorify Lord Kapila is by following his instructions. Those are very heavy instructions.
Okay, Prabhuji.
All right, Chandar.
Prabhuji, I have a question regarding the three levels you explained. Top level is Vishnu, and second is Sadashiva, and third is Jeev Tattva. So, in there, where is the Devi stands? Where
They are
is the Devi?
all at Jiva Tattva level. So Devi, you are referring to the demigods, right?
No, like, energy when they talk about the Durga and Saraswati, Lakshmi, all these Devis.
So Durga Devi is unique. Durga Devi is a pure devotee of Krishna. And all other Devis that you have, like Saraswati, and there are so many of them, they will all fall at Jiva Tattva level. Durga Devi is special. Durga Devi you cannot compare. And there is very little information about Durga Devi in the scriptures. So I'll give you a very important comparison of Durga Devi. So in the demigod worship discussion for chapter 4, verse number 12, I have described that demigod worship or the demigods is not a person, it's a position. Meaning, in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the word Indra comes up again and again and again in various pastimes. But in many of those pastimes, it's a different Indra as a person. So demigods is a position like prime minister of a country. The prime minister post is one and can be occupied by different personalities. Similarly, demigod is a position and different personalities occupy the post at different times. Durga Devi is unique that nowhere it is explained that Durga Devi changes, that somebody else comes and occupies the position of Durga Devi. No, Durga Devi is a person and she's occupying the post of being the overall seer or the jailer of material universes. So Durga Devi is unique. You cannot compare Durga Devi with the rest of the demigods. Chandar, does that help you?
So it means the Durga Devi is top of the demigods?
Durga Devi is definitely above demigods. You will see a visual. It's coming up very soon. Durga Devi is above demigods also. And therefore, this is the example or the reason for this is that Brahmaji got bewildered that why happened is because Durga Devi is above Brahmaji also, and Brahmaji is also at the Jiva Tattva level, and Durga Devi was able to put Brahmaji also in illusion that Brahmaji goes on to steal the cowherd friends and cows of Krishna. Chandar?
So when they talk about when the creation, there is a story about when creation happened, Vishnu had desire and Durga Devi manifested.
Vishnu has desire for what?
To creating the universe.
So, okay, so that is not a desire of Vishnu to create the universe. The universe is created based on desire of Jiva, not desire of Vishnu. Yeah, Vishnu did all the creation, means Vishnu provided all the primary ingredients for creation of material world, but it is not Vishnu's desire. It is Jiva's desire, which we'll discuss in Bhagavad Gita chapter 13, verse number 22, which is the third junction point in Bhagavad Gita, that the entire material world or the seed for material creation is the desire of we all individual souls, not Vishnu. Yes, Vishnu created, not desired. Chandar?
So Krishna is in seed form in this, right? It's also come in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is the seed of this universe.
Krishna is the seed giver.
Seed
Krishna is
giver,
not.
sorry,
Yeah,
seed
Krishna is
giver.
correct.
So when Krishna says he's the seed giver, and my understanding, I could be wrong, Durga Devi manifested the seed
That is
to
not correct.
this.
That is not correct. So Durga Devi existed as a pure devotee from before. Durga Devi was given the role to manage the universe, to keep the souls in the material world. So Chandar, you have not heard the demigod worship recording because of the Zoom glitch. I had requested you to connect with Malti to know how to translate, or not translate, but how to convert the previous recordings so that you can listen. You should listen to the demigod worship class from chapter 4, verse number 12, where Durga Devi has accepted this thankless task to keep the individual souls bound in the material world. Otherwise, Durga Devi is a pure devotee.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
And another important point, that this creation did happen with Vishnu providing the primary ingredients, and Durga Devi being the Prakriti got impregnated with all the jivas. Well, how can Vishnu impregnate the wife of Shiva? That's a different personality. So you have to understand that this is a very elevated subject matter, that this creation happened through Shiva, because Shiva is the husband of Durga Devi. So this is the glance that Vishnu did through Shiva, through which the creation happens, that all Jiva get impregnated in Prakriti, because Prakriti is wife of Shiva. Vishnu cannot touch other's wife. So this is pretty elevated subject matter described in Srimad Bhagavatam. I have only briefly touched based on that. Chandar?
So, Prabhuji, when comes to the Shakti or energy we talk about in practical form or day-to-day lives, is that the Durga Devi or is that the Krishna's power?
So we are also energies of Krishna. Durga Devi is also energies of Krishna. All are energies of Krishna, does at different levels. Right? So we are at marginal level, means we can either go under material energy or spiritual energy. So material energy is also energy of Krishna. Spiritual energy is also energy of Krishna. You have to understand according to what you are asking. So everything is energy of Krishna, and there are personalities representing all those energies. Chandar?
And Durga Devi has nothing to do in this, right?
Nothing to do in what?
In Krishna's energies.
So Durga Devi is given a role to manage the universes, to keep the souls bound in the material world. I'm still not understanding what you mean by energies.
Sorry, there was one verse came where Krishna is saying he is the keeping all the pearls together in the thread.
Yeah,
there is one verse.
7.7.
And here we are talking about Durga Devi is keeping this Prakriti, this universe together, which is created by Krishna's.
Yeah, and your answer is 9.10. We have read that Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti, that Prakriti is working under the directions of Krishna. Right? So Maya Devi is not independently acting. Maya Devi is executing the will of Krishna to keep everyone bound in the material world as long as they are not purified. In 7.7, yes, Krishna says, I am I am the thread that holds all the pearl together. So all the universes, all of existence, Krishna is holding them together as the necklace is held together with the thread. But Maya Devi is executing what Krishna is wanting, that the souls fulfill their desires in the material world. Chandar?
Yes, thank you. It clarifies.
Okay, Pratish Prabhu has a question. Is there any particular way to worship Sadashiva compared to Shiva at the Jiva Tattva level? So you are worshipping Shiva, demigod, who is at the Jiva Tattva level, as God, right? That is incorrect approach. The proper way to worship any demigod, which is Shiva or whatever demigod, as well as the proper way to worship Sadashiva, is to worship them or to glorify them as devotees of Krishna, not as gods. Pratish Prabhu?
Understood, Prabhuji.
Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations?
Yes, Prabhuji.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So is Durga Devi wife of demigod Shiva or Sadashiva?
Sadashiva.
Also, there are many versions of demigod Shiva, like Rudras and.
So Rudra is just another name. So you are soon going to get a spiritual endeavor to read in next couple of classes about Rudra. It's a very important discussion coming up. Rudra is just another name for Shiva.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, like in 23 and 24, you were mentioning this point that someone may modify the translations. And then there are some of the essential points in translations. Like in 24, you pointed out that the fall down is. So, like, how do we know this part, that what is the essential point?
So first, we don't have to read other Bhagavad Gita other than what Srila Prabhupada has given. So there are roughly 500 different versions of Bhagavad Gita. So I also, when I started Bhagavad Gita reading, I did not know that there are so many versions. I just read whatever was available to me, and I had more confusion. And when I was asking the questions to devotees at the temple, they say, what Bhagavad Gita are you reading? I was like, what do you mean? There should be only one. And they said, no, there are many. I said, why? So first point, we have to stop reading or stop even referencing Bhagavad Gitas which are beyond Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is. That is point number one. Second is, we have discussed that on our own, it is very difficult to understand Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, we have to hear from Acharyas and inquire that what exactly is this saying. And this is the process of understanding and inquiring from spiritual master, which Krishna has said in 4.34, that go to a spiritual master to inquire. So spiritual masters are there to answer any and all questions. May not be available on a day-to-day basis, although he is available on a day-to-day basis. For example, Matan Prabhu will validate that Matan Prabhu and my spiritual master is Vaishnav Adhikari. We actually have a WhatsApp group where devotees ask questions directly to our spiritual master. And spiritual master responds to those questions directly. I mean, some questions other also respond. But some questions, only spiritual master has the ability to respond. Because they are very difficult questions. We have never heard of those questions. So we have to ask spiritual master and understand. That is the parampara way to understand. We have read multiple times chapter 8, verse number 28, paragraph number 4. Abhishek Prabhu, you want to read 8.28, paragraph number 4, which starts the words idam viditva?
Yes, Prabhuji. 8.28. The words idam viditva indicate that one should understand the instructions given by Sri Krishna in this chapter and the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. One should try to understand these chapters not by scholarship or mental speculation, but by hearing them in association with devotees.
Right? So what does Prabhupada say? One should not understand by scholarship nor by mental speculation. Rather, hearing them in association of devotees. So we have to inquire from devotees, we have to inquire from spiritual master. Not by our own mental speculation. It is not possible to understand Bhagavad Gita or any of these scriptures by our own mental speculation. Abhishek Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations? Chandar?
Prabhuji, I have read Bhagavad Gita many times from other writers and even Gita Press, but Prabhupada's way explaining Bhagavad Gita as it is opening a lot of deep discussion and deep questions in me, and I'm clarifying here little by little, which is making sense to me now even more on Bhagavad Gita. Thank you so much.
Yeah, the Gita Press or whatever other Gita that anybody has, you can just put that away and just focus on Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. Because we discussed this point in 4.42 also, that all these people who have 4 defects, they are writing Bhagavad Gita. How is it possible? It's not possible. They will provide you incorrect, imperfect outcome, which is a fact, exactly what Chandar is explaining. And I have also read, first I read was whatever was available and was more confusing until I read Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is. And Chandar is bang to the point, correct, that Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita has proper explanations.
And it's not only that, it's very connecting. The other Gitas, we read it and we close the book and forget about it.
Yeah.
But this one, like, it's bringing the connection back. Like, I need to know more. I need to do next verse and read over and over again. That's the thing I really enjoy. And I mean, I love it.
Yeah, very good. You are absolutely correct. All right. Are we okay to continue? All right. Abhishek Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right. So here's 2 questions for you. Everybody try to answer before we read 9.25 verse. Does all worship go to Krishna? Everybody, please answer. Janisha?
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right. Padma Kumar Prabhu says no. Padma Kumar Prabhu, how is it possible? We just, Paulomi says no. My question is, does all worship go to Krishna? Paulomi, Padma Kumar Prabhu, please clarify. So we did discuss that Krishna says that demigod worshippers are actually worshipping me. They're just doing it in a wrong way. So worship still goes to Krishna, whether or not they are doing it in a wrong way. Follow me, Padma Kumar Prabhu, you clear? All right. Here's the second question. Do all worshippers go to Krishna?
No, Prabhuji.
No, Prabhuji. No, Prabhuji.
No, Prabhuji.
Very good. We almost got a unanimous answer. Yeah. So verse number 25 talks about this point that different paths lead to different destinations. Janisha, 9.25 translation. So very well-known verse.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestor go to the ancestor. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth again among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. Hare Krishna.
So 9.25 verse is crystal clear contradiction to the popular notion that all paths lead to the same goal. 9.25 verse says that different paths lead to different destinations and all forms of worship are not same. In purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that unfortunately, people do not have this information. Exactly the problem. If you look at India specifically, demigod worship is rampant because people don't know this information. And Prabhupada goes on to say in the purport that the Krishna conscious movement is therefore distributing sublime information to human society that simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can become perfect in this life and go back home, back to Godhead. So does all worship go to Krishna? Yes, all worship goes to Krishna. But all worshippers do not go to Krishna. This is exactly what is described in 9.25, that all worship is not same. That yes, all worship reach Krishna. So you are worshipping demigods. Yes, your worship is reaching Krishna. But you worshipping demigods, you are not going to go to Krishna. Because the worshipper will go where their conceptions are based and where their aspirations are driving them. So if you are worshipping a demigod, where your driving force is some material benediction, well, that's what you will attain. You are not worshipping demigod to attain Krishna. No, you don't even have that in your mind. So 9.25 clearly states that if somebody is worshipping Shiva or Durga or Ganesh or whatever be the demigod, well, you cannot attain Krishna or Vishnu. So each of these four lines, the Sanskrit lines of 9.25, they are in the different modes. So the first line says those who worship demigods, they go to demigods. This is worship in the mode of goodness. Second line says those who worship ancestors, they go to ancestors. This is worship in the mode of passion. And third line says those who worship ghost, they will go to ghost. This is worship in the mode of ignorance. And the fourth line says those who worship me, Krishna, they will return to Krishna. This is worship in the mode of transcendence. Questions, comments, realizations? All right.
I feel, Prabhuji, slowly we create a relationship. I have noticed this since day one that now, if we continue with Bhagavad Gita, we really feel we develop a relationship. We get deep into that feeling, and this really builds a bond. This is my observation.
Yeah, very good. And you are absolutely correct. So I have explained this from day one that I had almost forcefully asked all of you to have a physical copy of Bhagavad Gita, even though online is available. I'm soon going to show you the online versions. But I said, no, we have to revive a personal relation. For this, you need Bhagavad Gita because Bhagavad Gita book is not an ordinary book. The Bhagavad Gita book is Gopinath himself. So I will tell you, Ria, who is present among us, So Riya, when she started reading these scriptures, she still did not have Bhagavad Gita. So Riya is very far away in Australia. So I had to give her a contact, and Riya is very far from a close by ISKCON temple. So Riya had to contact with a local devotee, and the local devotee had to mail. So that would take time. In the interim, what I did was, I did not give the online version to Riya. What I did was, I only gave her a few verses in the WhatsApp that she had to read for that particular day. Why? Because I had to get Riya to get used to using Bhagavad Gita. And for the last endeavor, then Riya says, oh, I will do the endeavor after I return from my travel because I haven't been carrying my Bhagavad Gita. Why? This is the personal relation that you are trying to revive, that Megha is absolutely correctly describing. Everybody on the same page?
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right. So Krishna is doing a comparison here between demigod worship and Krishna worship to establish that Krishna worship is very easy. And this discussion will continue in the last set of verses. So although the verses that we discussed probably was a heavy conversation, rest of the verses are actually even heavier. So the conversation is just continuing where we are in section 4, verses 20 to 28, that Kevala Bhakti is far superior to demigod worship, where Krishna is comparing demigod worship and pure devotional service. And from these verses onwards, from 26 onwards, Krishna will do the contrast or the comparison with demigod worship in terms of simplicity of worship. That Krishna worship is very simple as compared to demigod worship. So demigod worship requires elaborate yajna and sacrifices. And if you do those demigod worship yajna properly, then it may be possible to please the demigod. And each of those millions of demigods, they have different processes to follow. Not everybody even knows about these different processes. If you go to any temple in India, which is any demigod temple, they all have the Archa Vigraha forms of the various demigods at the same altar. And they are all doing the worship similarly. Well, that is not correct. There is a different process to worship Shiva, a different process to worship Ganesh, a different process to worship Brahmaji. Not everybody even knows about these different processes. They are just worshipping. While in contrast, Krishna is going to explain that Krishna worship is very simple. You don't need this fancy, elaborate yajna. You can just do patram pushpam phalam toyam, simple things to offer, and Krishna will accept. So 9.26 is obviously a key memorization verse because it's a pure devotional service verse. I will recite 9.26 and then you all can unmute and recite one line after me, please. So 9.26. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhakta prayachati tad aham bhakti upaharatam asnami prayat atmanaha. Everybody unmute and recite one line after me, please. Patram pushpam phalam toyam
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
yo me bhakta prayachati
Yo me bhakta prayachati.
tad aham bhakti upaharatam
Tad
Aham bhakti upaharatam.
asnami prayatatmanaha.
Asnami prayatmanaha.
Ritu, translation please.
Hare Krishna, if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. Hare Krishna.
So there are two aspects to this verse. First is Bhaktya Prayachati and Bhakti Upaharatam and Prayatatmana. So all these are one point. Talk about the consciousness from our side that there has to be devotion and pure heartedness. And then the other point is Krishna accepts whatever is offered, even if it is very simple. He says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. That you can offer a simple fruit, flower, leaf, water. Krishna will accept as long as you have devotion. The point is, what pleases the Lord is the devotion in our heart. With such devotion, even if the physical items are simple, that does not matter because the Lord is looking at the devotion, not the items. Now, this does not mean that if I have $1 million, I will still offer a simple leaf. No. When we have devotion in the heart, we will want to offer the best we can to the Lord. This is the meaning of devotion, that whatever we have, we offer the best to the person we love. But if we don't have anything to offer, then Krishna will accept even the simplest of things. Now, question may come up. What if we are not in a situation to offer these things to Krishna? Because Krishna is not here right now. The answer is we can and we have to offer to the Archa Vigraha form, to the deity form of Krishna. The Archa Vigraha form of Krishna is non-different than Krishna himself, and Krishna has accepted this Archa Vigraha or the deity form to accept our services. There are many pastimes of this Archa Vigraha form accepting the services. I have previously briefly described some experience from the Toronto temple also, how the Archa Vigraha form accepts what we offer to the Gopinath at the respective temples. So whatever benefit is available through directly worshipping Krishna, say when Krishna was physically present during the Mahabharata times, is exactly available through the worship of Gopinath in the Archa Vigraha form, in the deity form. So Krishna's senses are spiritual senses and they are interchangeable, meaning all senses of Krishna can do the work of other senses. Example, Krishna can of course eat with his mouth, but Krishna can also eat with his ears. So here's a question for you all. Everybody try to answer this. Very important question. So if Krishna's senses are interchangeable and Krishna can also eat through his ears, why don't we feed Krishna through his ears? Everybody please try to answer. Somebody? Why don't we feed Krishna through his ears if his senses are interchangeable? Abhishek Prabhu?
This point is like that's Lord Krishna's mercy or blessing that he accepts, but from our side, we don't take it for granted.
Take it for granted what?
That like there is a purpose that we feed or eat with mouth. So not take undue advantage of Lord's
It's
compassion.
not the question of undue advantage. So the point here of my inquiry is that Krishna's senses are interchangeable, right? All senses. And Abhishek Prabhu, you are in the other Shishopanishad class where we also discussed this same point. Krishna's senses are interchangeable. Krishna can eat with his mouth as well as Krishna can eat with his ears also. Just as Krishna impregnated material nature through glance. Well, that also is an example of his senses being capable of doing everything else. Our senses can only do one task for what they are meant for. Krishna's all senses are interchangeable. So then why don't we feed to Krishna through his ears? So some of you have correctly pointed out that this is a very difficult question. Very good.
We chant mantra, so before offering prasadam, that
Matan Prabhu is different. Abhishek Prabhu, first finish.
I find it little impersonal when we see Lord Krishna as a person and
All right. Okay. All right, very good. Malti?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Krishna's form is human form and human eat by mouth. So we should have a knowledge that Krishna has a power to take everything from ears or eyes or interchangeable, but our focus should be offer them and like eating by mouth, not by ears.
Yeah, very
So we
good.
should
Very
know.
good. Yeah, so Krishna is like a human. So Ritu is also saying that we are not eating with ears, we eat with our mouth. Okay, very good. Chandar?
Prabhuji, I think Krishna can, we can offer him through his ears when we sing for him or when we do Hare Krishna japa.
You are correct. My question is the bhoga offering, the eatables. Why don't you offer to Krishna's ears if Krishna can eat through his ears?
Well, I would still think that it's about the feeling the way we want to give. It's not that where we give or how we give.
All right, very good. Rest of you, silent. How many of you want to know the answer? Nobody?
Yes, Prabhuji, want to know the answer.
Yes, Prabhuji, you want to know the answer.
All right. So a few of you answered it correctly. That because we are humans, we eat with mouth, so we treat Krishna also as a person. So humans eat with mouth. And Abhishek Prabhu also mentioning the correct point about we don't treat Krishna as impersonal. So just because Krishna's senses are interchangeable does not mean we treat Krishna as impersonal. So Yashoda Maiya does not put bhoga in Krishna's ears because we are serving Krishna. We are servants. We are not trying to test Krishna's omnipotence. Our goal is to serve Krishna in the best possible way. And therefore, for example, Malti also correctly pointed out that yes, we need to have the information that Krishna's senses are interchangeable, Krishna is omnipotent, but we are servants, we are not here to test Krishna. We are trying to serve Krishna in the best possible way, and we are treating Krishna as a person, not some impersonal. So we feed Krishna also through his mouth. Therefore, we put the bhoga in front of him. so that he can eat like a normal human with his hands and his mouth. Now, some may also ask, when we offer bhoga to the Archavigra form, the food is still there. So how is he accepting? Is Krishna really accepting? So, what exactly is Krishna accepting? So what Krishna is accepting is our love and devotion that we have used to make that bhoga offering. And the mercy that Krishna has given comes back as prasad, and this is the reciprocation of love. So many will give you this, many will tell you this, and I can tell you from my own personal experience also, that initially when I started Krishna consciousness, I only used to offer one time in the morning. So I have bought a bag of apples at the same store. It's a bag of apples which is probably plucked from the same tree, or at least from the same orchard. And I used to only offer one time because I'm still at the starting phase. And other times I used to eat the rest of the apples without offering. But there used to be difference in taste. That the apple that was offered to Krishna, although it is from the same bag, bought at the same time at the same store which is from the same orchard, but the other apple that I am eating without offering, it used to taste different. Why? Because the one that I have offered to Krishna, Krishna has put his mercy, and that is his reciprocation. And that's why the food may seem to be sitting right there, but it is actually not food anymore. It is not the bhoga that we offered. It is actually prasad, because Krishna has put his mercy in it. Everybody on the same page? Everybody got the answer?
I have a
Prabhuji.
question on this point.
Yeah, Abhishek Prabhu.
Like, is it wrong to offer for the sake of offering? Like, if you're not at very devotional state, but we know that we.
Yeah, hold on your question. It's 9.27. Will get answered in a minute. Okay. For this 9.26, I'm gonna play a short Prabhupada lecture. This 2-minute Prabhupada lecture is spectacular. Prabhupada is at his best. That within this 2 minutes, at one point Prabhupada is chuckling, and at the other point Prabhupada is crying in ecstasy. It is just spectacular. Let's listen directly from Prabhupada about this 9.26, about wanting to offer to Krishna with love and devotion. Let me bring up on screen.
That was there is a.
So let me start over again. So everybody pay close attention and then tell me what Prabhupada is talking about.
That was there is a Banshidas Babaji Maharaj. He was talking with his deity. Krishna, just like Mother Mahan. He was talking with Sanatana Goswami. Mother Mahan, Sanatana Goswami at that time had no temple. He was hanging his deity on the tree. So Madan Mahan was talking with him, Sanatana, you are bringing all these dry chapatis and it is stale, and you don't give me even little salt. How can I eat? Sanatana Goswami says, sir, where shall I go? Whatever I get, I offer you. You kindly accept. I cannot move, old man. So Krishna had to eat that. Because the bhakta is offering, he cannot refuse. Jimang bhaktya prajach. Real thing is bhakti. What you can offer to Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna. What you have got? What is your value? And what is the value of your things? It is nothing. Therefore, the real thing is bhaktya. Real thing is your feeling. Krishna, kindly take it. I have no qualification. I am most rotten, fallen. But I have brought this thing for you. Please say. This will be accepted. Don't be perturbed. Always be careful. You are dealing with Krishna. That is my request. Thank you.
Krishna Kirtan Vanana Tanapano Premamritam Manidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priyau Priyakarau Nimastanau Pujitau Sri Chaitanya Kripa Bharau Bhuvi Bhuva Bharavahantarakam Vande Rupa Sanatana Bhajagam Sri Jiva Gopalakam.
All right, what did Prabhupada explain? Everybody, please explain. Ritu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, he was saying we cannot offer anything to Krishna, everything belongs to him. Most important thing is our feeling and bhakti and the way we serve him.
All right, very good. Rest of you?
The only consideration is our devotion.
Very good.
Whatever we offer, he will take gladly if we provide with full amount of devotion.
Okay, very good. Rest of you? Pretty heavy words Prabhupada says. What can you offer? What is your value? Nothing. Everything belongs to Krishna. So next time you do offering to Krishna, be very careful. Prabhupada said, this is my request. Be very careful. You are dealing with Krishna. Everybody liked Prabhupada chuckling and then crying in ecstasy within a very few seconds.
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right.
Very
So,
emotional, Prabhuji.
Mika, repeat.
Very emotional, Prabhuji.
You are correct. Very emotional. Why? Because Prabhupada has love and feelings for Krishna. All right. So, verse number 27, the last verse we'll cover today. So, we heard in 26 and we heard from Prabhupada about bhakti, that bhakti is important. Now, this is what Abhishek Prabhu was just asking, that what if someone does not have devotion? Then what do? Do you worship Krishna or you don't worship Krishna? So 9.27 is obviously again a key memorization verse. And I will recite and then you all can unmute and recite one line after me, please. 9.27. Yat karosi yadasnasi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kuru swamadarpanam. Or everyone, please unmute and recite one line after me, please. Yat karosi yadasnasi
Yat
Karosi yat anasi
yat juhosi dadasi
Yat
juhosi tadasi yat
Dasiyat.
Yat tapasyasi kaunteya
Yat
Yat
tapasyasi kaunteya
kaunteya
tat kuru swamadharpanam.
tat
tat
tatkurusva
arpanam.
arpanam.
Raksha 27 translation.
Hare Krishna, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me.
So, if someone does not have devotion, in 9.27 and 9.28, Krishna explains that it does not matter whether you have devotion or not, you still offer to me to purify yourself. 9.27 verse is where I fall, and 13.26 is where I fall. That I don't have devotion. 13.26 says that you simply follow the instructions of a spiritual master. That's exactly what I did and how I started. This is where I fall. I don't have devotion. I do the offering for purification. So Krishna is giving a generic over here that whatever one does, one can offer everything to Krishna. Now, you will notice that in 9.27, the word bhakti does not exist. In 9.26, the pure devotional verse, bhakti came twice because Krishna says, what you are offering is bhakti to me. Krishna is accepting bhakti. 9.27, the word bhakti does not exist. Krishna is saying that just the principle of offering everything to Krishna is also auspicious. And the 2 points in 9.27 as compared to 9.26 is that bhakti as well as asnami means acceptance. These 2 points are not mentioned in 9.27. So Krishna does not specifically say in 9.27, I will accept, but that does not mean Krishna will reject. No, Krishna will still accept, just the degree is different. That somebody offering with pure devotional service, as in 9.26, well, Krishna's reciprocation will be very high, versus somebody offering, as in 9.27, without bhakti, well, Krishna's reciprocation will be less. But Krishna will still accept. So what Krishna is saying, 9.27, that if somebody does not have devotion, they are not left out of the world of devotion. They can still offer to Krishna everything, even if they don't have bhakti. Just as I don't have bhakti, I just offer for the sake of offering, for the sake of purification. Exactly what is explained in 9.27 for purification. So people who don't have devotion, they are not left out from the bhakti circle. They can still offer to Krishna. So in 9.26, emphasis was on the words bhakti and asnami, while in 9.27, the emphasis is on the principle of offering. That by offering to Krishna, Krishna says you will get auspiciousness, you will get purified. And in 9.28, Krishna will describe that what kind of auspiciousness will come by this kind of offering everything to Krishna. Let's read 9.28 and I'll come to Abhishek Prabhu's point. Pratyush Prabhu, 9.28 translation.
9.28. In this way, you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me.
So Krishna is explaining the result that even if you don't have bhakti, if you follow 9.27 of offering everything to Krishna, the result is then we become free of auspicious as well as inauspicious results of work. Means we become free from bondage of karma. So such a person is engaged in sannyas yoga, whether or not he has bhakti. So sannyas means disconnection from matter and yoga means connection with spirit. So Krishna has explained this in chapter 6 in verse number 1 and 2. Sannyasi cha yogi cha. That sannyas and yoga are same. That if person who is offering all the work to Krishna, such a person will become free from both auspicious as well as inauspicious reactions of this world. So punya and pap, in auspicious and inauspicious, are two things we can do. Punya is better than pap, but both are material. Therefore, both will keep us bound in the karmic world. So if we do pious activities, that will also keep us bound in the material world because we have to come to the material world to exhaust the pious activities. Therefore, Krishna says he will also remove the auspicious karmic reactions. Yeah, inauspicious, of course, we have to come. But auspicious means punya is also bad because it brings us back to the material world. Therefore, for liberation, we have to be free from both punya and pap. Therefore, Krishna says in 9.28, by offering everything to me, to Krishna, you will become free from bondage. Result will be not just liberation, but special liberation, the highest liberation. The highest liberation of attaining Krishna. Abhishek Prabhu, does that answer your question about not having devotion?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations? So we are just about at 11. We are getting at 11:45 a.m. Toronto time. So as I mentioned at the start, that next week, July 12th and 13th, there is Rath Yatra here in Toronto. So we will not have class. Many devotees locally are going to attend. We will not be having class. And from the following week, which is Sunday, July 20, a new batch of Srimad Bhagavatam will start. I request all of you to at least attend the initial 2 classes of Srimad Bhagavatam overview. And then you can decide whether you want to continue as the additional class. So in the WhatsApp group, I will, of course, post messages for this. But I'm letting you know right now that for July 20 and July 27, that week. So Saturday you will attend the Bhagavad Gita class and Sunday you will attend the Srimad Bhagavatam overview class. And then you can decide whether you want to continue the additional class. I will, of course, request all of you to join the Srimad Bhagavatam additional class because Srimad Bhagavatam will make remembrance of Krishna very, very easy. It will become second nature. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna himself, you will realize that right now, many of you will say that while chanting, the mind is running here or there. Many devotees from our past prior classes, past batches, they have said that the way we discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, the result has been that their japa quality has improved. So I request all of you to please consider this to join as an additional class if your time permits, or even if you can listen to the recording for this additional class, and you will have a lot of benefit. For the next week, I will of course post Prabhupada lecture. You can use the time to get caught up on whatever lectures you are having to listen to and whatever reading you have to get caught up on. We will stop here. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare